I think overall the goal, if you're building a business that's freedom first, right, and the goal is to be time free and
Mm-hmm.
financially free yourself as the
Mm-hmm.
owner, then having a business that is able to empower its employees to operate with some level of autonomy is
Mm-hmm.
super important. And
Yeah.
if some percentage of their work being remote is applicable to that industry that you're
Mm-hmm.
in or to the business that you're building,
Mm-hmm.
then I think there's definitely value for that. But overall, it seems like, getting folks working together is
Mm-hmm.
typically going to be more efficient, more productive.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Own the Exit. I'm your co-host, Aaron.
Hey, I'm Caleb. I'm your co-host. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're excited about just spending a few more minutes with you. Today, we wanted to jump into a topic. We've seen some stuff on social media. We've seen some
Yeah.
people with some strong opinions about this. It's kind of the idea of remote work versus, coming to an office every single day, and how, as a business owner, you kind of navigate that. Like, do you make all of your people come to an office, and are they going to be more productive that way? Are they going to be happier that way?
Mhm.
Will your business thrive? Will it be better, or do we just do the remote thing? And I think with the remote work, I mean, a lot of that, my understanding is that developed like with technology, and
Yeah.
no one had a laptop, prior to, 2000s and before, like everyone came to a physical workplace,
Right.
or, whereas now it's like, it's become so common. And then of course, COVID, really accelerated that.
Took remote work to another level.
Yeah, where we had to work remote,
Yeah.
we were mandated to. And to me, that was like a temporary measure though, or at least it was
Mhm.
supposed to be.
Mhm.
But then, trying to get people back to the office, there's been mixed feelings about that. And so I guess what are your thoughts, Caleb, on, because
Yeah.
me and you have talked on, what's your preference if you're working?
So for me, man, like I think I would say I'm a bit more of an anomaly. I have the ability to be super focused, to get super focused,
Mm-hmm.
but I also have the ability to be really easily distracted.
Mm-hmm.
So, remote work, like if I'm doing deep work type stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
stuff that needs immense focus, then what
Mm-hmm.
I want to do is I want to work by myself, isolated, like no chance of being distracted by someone else.
Yeah, I've seen your office. You don't even have a window.
Yeah, and that's not. I'm not like a weirdo,
Yeah.
like tech coder down in a basement, but I'm like I don't want to be distracted because I know
Yeah.
that I've got 8 hours worth of work to do, and I've got 5 hours today to do it in.
Yeah.
Right. And the only way I'm going to do that
Uh-huh.
is by shutting it all down and going hardcore deep work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm going to work for 4 straight hours,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
without changing the project.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's going to. And so I think asking me remote versus that, I would say I like a 50-50 hybrid. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 50% remote cuz half of what I'm going to do is going to require deep work, and then the other half is going to, is going to be
Mm-hmm.
more interactive with other people, right? And so,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but I see like, I've seen Grant Cardone, I've seen other people talk about
Mm-hmm.
the downfalls of remote work, and I can't help but agree. For most people
Yeah.
and most businesses, being fully remote is going to be more detrimental long term, I think.
Yeah. Some of the downsides, I mean, a lot of it is the culture,
Mhm.
the successes and failures of team members, the
Right.
interaction, the innovation kind of together. And
Mhm.
I think the separation, like, I mean, Grant Cardone makes that example of like, imagine the Kansas City Chiefs practicing remote, like each
Yeah.
person's in their backyard, like running plays, like it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's a team. You've got
Yeah.
to be together, physically.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of like, even, um, you can't quite put your finger on it,
Mhm.
but it's not like measurable, but it's like a fabric that's like woven of
Yeah.
the team when you're like physically, with people. But
Right.
you know, um, and I think, some of the weaker team members, or there are some people that really need that
Mhm.
structure, where it's like
Yeah.
you've got to be here at 9, and that's kind of how they they flourish within that tighter constraint,
Yeah.
but then I think there are other people that they don't need
Yeah.
that, or they can produce, in another area, or not
Yeah.
part of the team. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it. I think a lot of it depends on your industry, your company, the
Yeah.
size of your team, what you're working on.
think
We've seen remote teams that are killing it,
crushing it.
like where they
Multi-million-dollar revenue companies,
and they're even working with like
ultra high
overseas
margin. Yeah.
teams and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally. Yeah.
what's the tax pro marketers? They made Inc.
Yeah.
5000.
Yeah.
Half of their team is in like Europe and
Absolutely.
Asia, and
Yeah.
so they've been able to do a really good job.
Even one of the marketing agencies that we work with, like the ad managers in
Yeah,
like
we
Great
work with remote
Britain
people.
and all the time. And so
Hmm.
I think from a like culture standpoint, one of the benefits of at least hybrid work,
Hmm.
maybe not fully remote, but hybrid work, one of the benefits is I really believe that sense of autonomy and freedom that comes that can make someone feel not so like deeply enslaved to their employer,
Hmm.
right? And so having a measure of, so I guess that'd be a good question. I mean, how do you duplicate that sense of autonomy even if the even if your work environment is fully like just show up at the office, but how do you
Hmm.
still make people feel like they're not just bound to clocking in, clocking out, and this is just another job? Like you want people,
Yeah.
obviously, getting them in the right position,
Uh-huh.
right? Making sure that they're doing something that they're really passionate about.
Right.
But that autonomy piece is really important to the current workforce. It's really important to me. I mean, I want to be beholden to no man, right? Like, and so I understand that
Yeah.
it's important to other people,
Well, you can
right?
still have that too, I think, or you could still have that value
Mm-hmm.
while having a place. We have an office that we're in the process of renovating. We're gutting
Yeah.
this 8,000 square foot medical building
Mm-hmm.
and converting it into an office space for our team right now. But my vision behind that is to make it a resource. It's not like, hey, you have to come here from 9 to 5, as much as it is. And some of our team members, they can't wait.
Yeah.
They want to come there.
Totally.
They want to be there. They want that structure. They want, but to me, it's more of like, how can this? Because what's the point of having a business?
Yeah.
Like having that freedom, having it flourish, and and part of that is having the team happy, right, and satisfied
Yeah.
in their work. I mean, that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
The team, they're the most valuable resource, and so like I want for them to be able to that doesn't become like a negative, but it's like, hey,
Mhm.
this you don't have to come here, but you can come here,
Yeah. Yeah.
and setting it up that way where it's setting them up for success so that they can hit their goals and the goals that the company sets and all that.
Yeah.
So, but if somebody's producing better working
Right.
remotely, then why would you make them come in?
Right.
That actually wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, as long as it didn't negatively affect the rest of the team. So I think it's just a balancing,
Totally.
and every leader is different. I mean, I know people that they have small teams and they make everyone come in.
Yeah.
And,
Totally.
so
Yeah. I guess the answer is, to the overarching question is there's probably no cookie cutter answer,
mhm,
but there are definitely downsides to exclusively remote like work for your employees, right?
yeah.
It's hard to develop a culture. It's
Mhm,
hard for those employees to benefit from being around each other,
mhm,
but to find how they can help their other employee, where they can apply
mhm,
strengths, where their coworkers are weak, and vice versa. And so, I do think that's a really solid point. I think overall, the goal, if you're building a business that's freedom first, right, and the goal is to be time free and
mhm,
financially free yourself as the
mhm,
owner, then having a business that is able to empower its employees to operate with some level of autonomy is
mhm.
super important. And
Yeah.
if some percentage of their work being remote is applicable to that industry that you're
Mhm,
in or to the business that you're building,
mhm.
then I think there's definitely value for that. But overall, it seems like getting folks working together is
Hmm.
typically going to be more efficient, more productive.
Yeah, I spoke to somebody that was like when they had people working remote, it would like eat away at them
Yeah.
because they wondered, and I think they had been like hurt in the past, like betrayed and stuff. So it
Hmm.
was like a trust thing, or it was like
Yeah.
they were like they didn't know if they were working, and so I
Right.
think that was like that can be like a more of a emotional problem
Yeah.
than it is just pure business.
Yeah.
But it's more of
Yeah.
like they have issues
Hmm.
where they're like, I don't know. So that they want to get everybody there. So it's
Yep.
the control thing. But
Yeah.
does that actually, what's the is the end result any better though, right?
Right. Right.
And it's the same thing we've talked on other
Yeah.
episodes too of like the different leadership styles of
Yeah.
being able to empower and let people go and
Yeah.
um, have that freedom.
Absolutely.
So, but I know there can be just challenges with
Yeah.
that too of like you know um getting everyone on the same page, and so what I know you've talked about, like instead of like there are many people in this country that work 40 hours a week from 9 to 5, and what
Hmm.
they produce, it doesn't add a lot of value,
Yeah.
but they clocked in for those hours,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's more about looking at it from a results based or a task based, hey, here's a project. This is when it needs to be done by.
Hmm.
I don't really care where you do it or how you do it,
Right.
but this is what needs to
It
happen.
just needs to be awesome.
Yeah, it just needs, and then you'll be
Yeah.
evaluated by the awesomeness of it and how long
Yeah.
it took,
Yep.
and if you're somehow got it done all weekend, staying up till 2 in the morning, and you
Yeah.
took off Monday and Tuesday,
Yeah.
like I don't know, it's just having that balance, right?
Right.
Of shifting to more of a results based. And you might not be able to do that for every company, of course,
Right. Of
because
course.
you're under
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
different service industries, there's different hours you got to work within
Of
and
course.
all that. But just more thoughts.
Absolutely, man. It's been a really great conversation.
Yeah.
I think it can be super valuable and super helpful for business
Hmm.
owners to think in this way. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's all we got time for
Yep.
today. But thanks everybody for joining us for another episode of Own the Exit.
Thanks,
Do us
everyone.
do us a quick favor
Mhm.
and subscribe if you haven't. Give us a review and share this with
Share
somebody
it.
you think that could benefit from it. All right. Until next time, go out and own it. Own the exit.
Thanks, guys.